Hi everyone, welcome to Weenie the Moon. My name's Tracy and I'm here with Dee.
Hi.
And today we are doing a New Year special podcast based around next year, setting your goals and intentions and aims of how you can achieve everything you plan for the next up and coming year. Um, Dee has a lovely meditation to guide you through, to hopefully help you visualize some ideas as to what your New Year goals and dreams will be. And then we're going to go through a little bit of journaling with some suggested aromas, crystals, maybe a bit of incense too, which will help bring about energy and manifest all your hopes and dreams. So I'll hand you over to Dee, who's going to just talk you through what the meditation's about and get you ready.
I want you to I want you to get cozy for this one. Grab your journal, whatever you make your notes on. Pick whatever crystals appeal to you. There's no right or wrong answer here. Pick whatever aromas, whatever candles or essential oils or incense sticks that you feel like. Just get yourself really cozy and really get yourself in a sort of pampery state. If you've got a little blankie to put over you. When you're ready, we are going to start the meditation, which will start with a 2-minute silence. To begin with, I want you to take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. Just ground yourself in the moment. Transitioning from where your mind was a few moments ago to where you are right now. Just giving yourself permission to have this time completely for yourself. Take another nourishing breath in. And a slow breath out. Now I want you to visualize yourself walking down your favorite beach. What does the sand feel like beneath your toes? Can you hear the ocean lapping up by your feet? Really put yourself in this scene. Just visualizing that sun that has risen above the horizon and is touching your skin. What's the temperature of that sun like on your skin? Is it warming you from the inside out? And as you're walking down your favorite beach, you notice someone's walking towards you in the distance. And as you begin to get closer, you recognize this person. It's yourself in 12 months from now. And as you look at them, you can't help but notice how vibrant they look. How much energy they have, and how happy they are. And as they get closer, they say to you, "So good to see you. I'm so proud of you." Let me tell you what you've been doing for the last 12 months. So you both sit down, you and your future self, 12 months from now, and you look out towards the ocean. And they begin by telling you what your relationships are like in your life right now. What are your relationships like with your family and your friends? Just taking a moment right now to visualize 5 people that you're spending more quality time with in the future. Who are those 5 people? Now just focus on sending them a little loving kindness. And as they keep telling you about your relationships, and you mention the person that you wake up next to every morning and how that relationship is thriving. If you're not waking up next to anyone, you're visualizing waking up full of energy and vibrant and having a really strong connection with yourself. How are you showing the people closest to you that you really appreciate them? How are you investing into your relationships more often? Next, your future self begins to tell you about your health, how well you're feeling. You can tell by looking at your skin and your teeth and your hair. And they go through how you feel when you're waking up, how often you're exercising, what you're doing to feel so good about yourself. What types of food you've been eating, how you're at your ideal weight now. Are you meditating? If so, how often? They then talk to you about your career goals and how it's so important to love what you do because our work plays a massive part in our life. They talk to you about the goals that you're achieving in your career. Have you been promoted? If yes, to what position? Do you have a business mentor to keep you aligned with your career goals? How are you creating a healthier workspace for yourself and for your coworkers? Are you turning up in your career, happy, engaged, and productive? Next, you talk about your financial goals, how much you're earning in the next 12 months, how much you've been saving, how you've been investing. Have you begun to generate more cash flow? Do you have a job that's bringing some extra money in on the side? Are you setting weekly savings goals? And how much closer are you getting to that retirement? Next, your future self talks to you about community and purpose. What are your goals in this area? Nurturing the purpose in life is vital, and reconnecting with what we find meaningful. They tell you what type of person you want to be, the legacy you really want to leave behind here on this earth. How are you giving back to this world? Are you changing the world for the better? Are you making some space and time for volunteering or for service work or charity work that lights you up and gets you more involved in your community? If yes, what charities or organizations are creating passion in you? Next, you discuss education and learning goals. So important in life to always remain curious and continue to expand your knowledge no matter what stage of life you're in. What are you learning? How are you growing? How are you making more time every day for personal development? Are you listening to more podcasts, TED Talks, downloading Audible books, listening to your books on your commute? Are you doing courses to upskill yourself? How are you growing? Next, your future self smiles because they talk to you about your holiday and your fun goals. You discuss how often you're taking breaks, the holidays you've been on over the last 12 months, the hobbies you're doing for fun. What are you making time for? What makes you forget what time it is? Instead of purchasing gifts, could you do memories with loved ones or friends? Is your recreational time fulfilling your needs? Is it time to outsource the stuff that doesn't add energy to your life? Your future self turns to you and looks at you and says, I'm so proud of you and I love you. You made me the person I am today. And as you stand up and you give your future self one last embrace, you notice them as they walk down the beach, how happy they are, how alive they are, how full of energy they are. And then you smile to yourself because you know that's the life that is waiting for you. Now take a deep breath in and take a slow breath out. Just gently feeling the ground underneath your feet, slowly wiggling your toes, scanning up your legs. Notice how heavy they're feeling on the chair or on the floor. scanning up your spine. Your posture is nice and strong. Your shoulders are nice and relaxed. You have a gentle smile on your face. And whenever you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Quite a moving one, I always think. And the reason why we thought this was a good meditation for ahead of these journaling points that Tracy's going to take you through, setting goals for your year and your intentions, is that we wanted you to start visualizing where you want to be in 12 months' time. And once you know where you want to be and what's different between now and your future self, then you start to realize what your goal is for this year. And then you can start thinking about what you need to do to actually achieve those goals. It's not enough to say, I want to lose weight. You then have to think about how you're going to lose weight, what you're going to put in place to make sure that you actually hit those goals. And I'm going to hand over to Tracy now to talk a little bit more about your goals and so forth.
Oh, thanks, Dee. Lots to think about there, isn't there? But I think it's nice to do it in a meditative, struggle with that word, state, rather than just sat there with your book putting pressure on yourself, because it's only when you relax your brain that certain thoughts can come into there that are true to your heart, because it's so easy as a human to do things that you think people want you to do, or that you should be doing because other people are doing, or, you know, for your relationship goals, the people you focus on and you spend time with are people that you feel that need you, or you feel guilty for not being around them. So it's nice to get into that kind of state of just nothing, so you can really see where you're at as a person without guilt, pressure, comparison, and just what's really true to you. So I'm going to go through now how to set up a plan as to achieve these goals. Where do you start, and how do you not get overwhelmed, and how do you cut it down into achievable, manageable sections to get to the point at the end of the year where you have actually moved forward? We all have that list to do that we look at and we put off until the next day because it just seems too overwhelming, or you just don't want to do it, or you just don't know where to start. So by breaking this up and making this seem fun, achievable, and manageable, hopefully by the end of this time next year, you're going to be ticking some bits off there, and there will be the version of you that's different and you've achieved where you want to be.
And the example that I always use with like my business clients is building a website, because a lot of them have in their mind that they want to build a website or revamp their website.
Which is a huge job, right? That's a huge thing.
Job. You're never going to wake up in the morning and think, oh, I feel like building a website today. No. But if you take the time to break it down into the individual bite-sized chunks, maybe the first step is to find the web designer. Maybe the next step is find the images you want to use on your site. Maybe the next step is write the About Me section. If you break it down, then you might have a day where you wake up and think, okay, I can contact a couple of designers to get some quotes today. Exactly. Okay, I can take time to write a paragraph about myself today. Whereas you're never going to wake up and be like, let's make a whole website today.
Slow, steady progress. And if you've listened to our podcast series about the moon and its cycles, you'll know that's exactly the theme of manifesting what you want to do, achieving it, refining it, completing it, and then reflecting and having gratitude on it. And it's exactly the same theme as we go throughout the year. And if you're interested in the moon's energy and how you can use it to achieve and drive your goals, and have a little listen to our moon podcasts. We have them on each phase, don't we, Dee? For those of you that don't know, the new moon is the start of the moon cycle, and the new moon is the time when you set your intentions and manifestations and the goals you want to achieve for the month. So we've already just done Dee's lovely meditation of what we want to be in our future self for the year. But now we need to break it up into manageable, like Dee said, bite-sized chunks throughout the year, so that we can make sure that we get everything done without being overwhelmed, rushed, etc. And a good pinpoint to do this is every new moon, write down what your bite-sized chunks will be. So we'll go through all the key points that Dee has said in her meditation, and we'll start with relationships. Something may have popped up there for you in who you want to be around. Dee mentioned writing down the 5 people you want to spend time with, and perhaps you want to start a new relationship, perhaps you want to improve a relationship, perhaps you want to end a relationship. Whatever your long-term goal is to get to at this point next year, let's break it up into manageable, I'm going to call them new moon bite-sized chunks, so that each month you can...
Moon-sized chunks.
Yes, moon-sized chunks. Ooh. Like cheese. So that, every month you're working towards this goal in a very manageable way, rather than just jumping in and trying to tick it off in January. So you've written down the 5 people you want to spend time with. Now write down, how do you plan to do that? Or if you want to improve a relationship with someone, how can you do that? Or if you want to end a relationship or start a new relationship, how are you going to achieve that goal?
I think a lot of us have been reviewing our relationships, haven't we? Because we've been separated. Who have we missed most,
Exactly. There's so much to think of. It's a big topic, relationships. It's a good one to start with, isn't it, Dee? And it's hard to kind of describe this topic for everyone, because I think everyone's relationships can mean marriage, it can mean family, it can mean friends, it can mean a lot of things. But the key point is, write down what your aim is, and then let's write down how you're going to achieve that. More time, more energy, more effort, more activities. How are you going to improve or do the thing that you want to do in your relationships for this up and coming year?
Can I say one of mine?
Yes.
Because on and off during all these lockdowns and whatnot, there have been times where the only way I could see my parents is if I would go for a walk with one of them at a time. And so I've been on a few walks with my dad, and we've never done that before.
I was going to say, I bet that's a new thing you've introduced, that you're thinking, why didn't we do this
lunches
years ago?
Before? We spend time alone together a lot.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed going for the walk, and both of us need to be much healthier. So I think that's something I would like to carry on, spend more time with my dad, definitely, because obviously this pandemic has made everyone really hopefully treasure their parents, or at least their loved ones more. But yeah, the going for a walk thing.
So hopefully that's filled up a good page for everyone there on their to-dos and to-don'ts. One suggested thing we're going to add to each of these sections as well are our aromas and essential oils and stones, our crystals. I can't find my words today, Dee. I don't know what's wrong with me. I apologise, everyone. Our crystals and stones and aromas, essential oils. We talk about these a lot, don't we, Dee? And suggest them for all of the new moons and the full moons. And why not carry them over into this new year intention setting? So we've picked a few for each theme, but as always, go with your vibe, go with what suits you. For relationships, it's rose quartz, the stone of the heart. It's a really good one for grief, for healing, for love, for friendship. Relationships, it had to be the go-to stone. And then for essential oils, I had a quick look in my book today. There's quite a few. You've got your aphrodisiac essential oils and your uplifting ones, etc. But I've gone for sandalwood. Suggested one for relationships. It's quite grounding, it's quite woody. It goes along with that theme of, we're not trying to manifest new relationships maybe, or get rid of old ones. We're just trying to find some calm and some balance in our world of friendships and love. And sandalwood's such a calming, earthy fragrance that it'll hopefully just bring back a bit of balance and clarity.
Makes sense.
into
Makes sense.
relationships. Yeah.
And if you're like me and not too fond of the smell of sandalwood on its own, it smells really nice when you mix it with anything floral or citrusy.
Oh, nice. Like a bit of lavender.
Yeah, a bit of
Yeah.
lemon.
Going for calming vibes, like
Mhm.
something that's just going to root you into not too emotional, but not too thoughtful, just balanced over relationships. Right, the next one Dee mentioned was self-care, which I've teamed up with health and fun goals. I put them all in the same box. I hope you don't mind, Dee, because I
That makes
figured
sense.
otherwise we're going to have a big list. I mean, the key word really is self-care for your yearly goals, and that may be your health, it may be your inner child and fun, it may be pampering yourself, looking after yourself. Have a think about what's important to you and what the word self-care means. Hopefully you've come up with some key points in Dee's meditation as to what you want to improve on. She mentioned mental health, physical health, fun activities, new hobbies, new interests. And then again, same as your relationships, let's write down how we're going to achieve this. So for health, it may be a trip to the doctors. It may be a little bit of research. But make sure these are achievable. But write down things that you're going to carry on doing as well, because it's all right pushing yourself. Like, I would hate the thought of going to a gym. Hate gyms anyway, whether they're open or closed at the moment, with all goodwill and intention, telling myself I'm going to go there. I'm just not going to do it. I won't. I will try and do it for a month, but I hate it so much. Everyone's different. So just write down something that you can do that you know, it may not be the best fun thing, but at least it's something that you're going to carry on throughout the year.
Think outside the box, because there's loads of different types of exercise and some of them are so fun. Like I remember when I lived in Chiswick, my nearby gym did trampolining. So, one of the little trampolines.
Yeah.
But it was just the funnest class on a Saturday morning with a teacher that played 80s dance music, So like that exercise, I can genuinely say I enjoyed.
And once you've written down again your points of how you're going to achieve this, again, let's every new moon break them down into manageable chunks of this month, I'm going to try and do yoga twice a week. This month, I'm going to buy myself a new jigsaw puzzle. Mini moon chunks that you can do every month to break it down. So at the end of the year, you will have that new hobby, you will have that self-care plan, you will have that new treat that you do regularly, or you will achieve that health aim, but it needs to be broken down.
It's also always, I find, better and more easier to maintain your motivation if your action plan is based on actions rather than results. If you're goal setting, rather than saying, I'm going to lose 3 kilos a month, like you said, say, I'm going to do this exercise 3 times a week, or I'm going to go to the gym however many times a week, or I'm going to eat healthily except for one cheat meal a week. Sometimes there's a pandemic.
Yeah.
Sometimes, there's something else going on with your health that means you don't lose 3 kilos a week or whatever. But if you tick all the boxes action-wise, you're still going to be motivated. You're still going to be developing a positive habit. Another example I use, for example, is writing a book, because a lot of people that come to me in my business, they want to write a book. So rather than saying each month I'm going to write 2 chapters, instead say each week I'm going to have two sessions of writing for 2 hours at a time.
I wonder how writers set themselves targets of X amount of pages, because creativity isn't something you can push, is it? Either. If what you come out with is rubbish quality, there's no point in pushing up that hill just to say you've done it. I like the idea of
if you say that you've dedicated X amount of time to it each week, each month, whether it's writing or whether it's researching or whatever you might be trying to write, that is something you are in control of, right?
Yeah, no matter what's going on with the world and the pandemic. Oh, and I've got some suggested crystals as well for self-care. So goes without saying, amethyst, the stone of health and beauty. Amber, which is the one we love, the resin stone. Sometimes has little bugs in it. Great for cleansing, great for clearing. And rose quartz again, just because self-care, love, self-love, it's all important. You have to love yourself as well as others. And then the essential oils, I've gone for ylang ylang, which is a really nice one for kind of happiness and uplifting. So self-care, making yourself happy and having that really nice uplifting oil. Frankincense, really nice for bringing about some spiritual connection and some calm and peace. And bergamot for self-love and working on yourself, quite an uplifting one. You can have a look at maybe some blends. Dee's great at blends. Maybe we put some on our website just to mix these together, or bring in some of your own. But we've gone along the theme of calming or uplifting, self-love and working on yourself, all part of self-care. So the next section, Dee, are you ready? Mm-hmm. This is one that's very close to Dee and I's hearts because we're workaholics. Career and work, and I've added the financial goals to that as well because I think it's all linked together. So in Dee's meditation, she mentioned to note some points there for any of your career goals, work goals, or financial goals. Now let's again write down a list of how we're going to achieve these in an action way. Hey, Dee, so maybe not in a too detailed goal setting way.
For example, you are wangling for a promotion at work or a pay rise. Maybe you start looking at what people, what is the sort of benchmark pay for your job in the field you're in. Or maybe you start compiling a list of your achievements in your job over the last 12 months to sort of argue your point for a pay rise or a promotion. Or maybe you go back and look at your CV and update your CV if you're planning on applying for jobs, or a new job or whatever it might be. So what steps do you need to do to achieve your career goals? What are your career goals, and what do you need to do towards what is the first step at the very least?
So one of my ones this year is to save some money. And
like a grown-up. Yeah.
Like a grown-up, continue trying to save. And so I plan to, it's very clear, put some money aside and open a savings account is what I want to do. And then my mini moon chunks, I like Dee's idea of, I was going to say, put X amount into my account every month, but actually I'm just going to say, put some money into that account. Because it may vary from month to month as to what I can afford to save. And that goes with the theme for anything to do with your work, career, or financials for 2021. And some good crystals, and I swear by these crystals, Dee. I wouldn't be without it. Pyrite.
I love my pyrite.
Have it on my till, have it on my sewing machine. It brings about prosperity, great for new business ventures or new careers. It's really good for money and wealth.
Also, can I just say, it's one that you look at and it makes me smile.
It's one cute. Of my best sellers. It's one of, I think, the most beautiful stone. It's got that really silvery, sparkly. You can see why it's the stone of abundance and prosperity and wealth.
I mean, it's also known as fool's gold because quite often people thought they had struck gold and actually it was just pyrite, which is not gold.
I think it's prettier than gold.
If you don't know what pyrite is like, that should give you an idea.
Have a look. Interestingly, sold a lot of it through the pandemic. Yeah, I think it's quite an important stone this year. And then going down more of the sort of promotion route, or if you need to work on people, communication, Tiger's Eye is a really good one. I always give it to Michael if he has a presentation to do or an important meeting. If you've got important points to get across to someone and you need to be confident, bold and strong and to the point, then Tiger's Eye is a really good one at boosting that kind of communication. But even the name of it, Tiger's Eye, I think it's really self-explanatory of its boldness and its confidence. And then the essential oils, we've gone for really uplifting ones. So you're on it mentally for whatever you need to do. So very focused and driven. Peppermint, the oil for communication as well, all to do with the throat chakra. Sweet orange, spearmint.
One of my favorite.
Rosemary, is it? All the citrusy ones, the minty ones, that zingy kind of, I'm awake, I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to achieve my career aims, dreams, goals, and hopefully financial as well. So very uplifting for your work goals and motivated. And then the next box for our 2021 manifesting goals is again, I've grouped it D, your community purpose or further development goals. So as humans, we all need a purpose. And this box is for any other bits that you feel need to fill the gaps outside of work, relationship, and self-care. When you've ticked all those or you've completed your mini moon chunks for the month, you're going to end up with gaps. You're going to need to be filling them with some other purpose for you. So hopefully something came up in Dee's meditation. Let's write down now how we're going to achieve our moving forward self-purpose or community-driven goals.
I think it's a really interesting time to think about community, because I feel like the dynamics in everyone's communities have really changed.
Yeah.
I mean, before this pandemic, for example, we didn't have a street WhatsApp group.
No.
You know,
the drive to help others as well.
Exactly. People are helping out much more and reaching out much more. So it feels like there's a lot more opportunities to get involved in the community level. And community can mean different things, obviously. It's not necessarily your local community. It might be your cultural community,
Don't leave it to the last minute. Like, if you want to do something good for your community, for charity, or to further develop yourself, you have to create these opportunities. So now, how are you going to create that opportunity? If you want to work for a charity, you need to approach them and ask if they need your help. If you want to cook dinner for someone that you think needs it, then you need to politely find a way of knocking on their door and say, hey, do you need any shopping today? If you want to do further development, don't just sit there and think, oh, wow, I don't know what to do. Get on some online courses, do some research and see what takes your fancy.
You know what I always think is, like, have a think about what you've struggled with in the past. You know, whether it was starting your own business, whether it was moving to the area, what did you struggle with, and what help would you have appreciated at that time? Is it something that you can offer to people that, the you of 5 years ago or 10 years ago?
And then, true to the theme, now write down your new moon mini chunks. We haven't quite decided on the name, but it needs to include chunk, because I like that word, Dee.
Oh, right. Moon chunks.
Moon chunks of how you're going to break that down throughout the year to make it achievable.
You've got to put things like this in your diary, same as your self-care.
But I've got some good oils and crystals for further development or purpose. We've gone for carnelian, the red stone of fire, to give you a bit of a boost up your bottom, especially if you're feeling very flat and unmotivated. It's really good at pushing you forward. But then we've also balanced it with hematite to ground you. So although you're moving forward, you are focused on that one point of direction. And citrine as well, for creativity and positivity. So thinking outside the box, doing different things, bringing about a bit of sunshine and positiveness in your further development. And then for the essential oils, again, really uplifting ones: rosemary for stimulating, and lemon, which is good for assisting concentration. Your household goals.
Oh, this is a good one, especially over the last year. I think a lot of people have been thinking about this, haven't they?
So many people have been doing renovations, cleaning, changing, spring cleaning. Some people have wanted to move. Have a think about what your house goals are. And so for the household goals, suggested stones are a bit of a mixture. Selenite, the stone for clearing and cleansing.
And the stone for the moon.
And the stone for the moon. But good to wave around if you got it in the stick form. There's a picture of Dee with her selenite wand. If you don't like smudging, it's a nice one to clear energy. Tourmaline, nice at protecting your home. Maybe the energy's a little bit off from your neighbours, or people have been in your space that you need protection from. And amethyst, the stone of balance. Nice one to put on your house plants to keep them growing. or to kind of balance. I've got a dying plant now and I've put amethyst on its soil. Yeah, it's supposed to help plants if they're struggling, but it balances energy. So it absorbs where it's needed if it's overactive, and it gives out where it's flat. And they all say you should always have amethyst in your house. And essential oils, I don't have any suggested for your household essential oils because I think it's quite a personal preference.
I'm going to suggest sage.
Yes, clearly.
Just because it's always nice to have a little sage, isn't it? We sell sage as an incense stick as well. If people like us get frustrated with the bundles of sage, how they always go out, and you have to constantly relight them, then you can use sage in incense form. We've got some amazing native soul ones with different scents. Really nice one mixed with lavender, huh?
Yeah, white sage and lavender. There's cedar, copal, palo santo. They're all really nice cleansing, healing, clearing.
So maybe one of your goals is every new moon to do a bit of a sage.
Yeah, a bit of a smudging ritual. I think house is a preference, isn't it, of what's going on in your house? Do you need it to be calmer? Do you need it to be more uplifting? What are your favourite smells?
Do you need to clear more stuff? Do you need to add more stuff?
Yeah, it's such a personal thing.
I think maybe you do a task of decluttering one space every month, so it's not overwhelming. We actually have all these exercises of setting goals and setting your intentions in our lunar planner, don't we, Tracey?
We do, yes. So check it out on our website. They're still in stock at the moment. However, they're selling fast. It's winninthemoon.co.uk. On there, you'll see a link to the lunar planner, which will take you to the checkout page. We also sell all the essential oils we've mentioned, the crystals we've mentioned, and the incense now as well has been added as well, Dee. So there's lots of goodies you can buy on there. So check out our website, winninthemoon.co.uk. Perfect. Oh, well, thank you for listening, everyone. We will be launching our new series of podcasts next year. So watch this space, check out our socials, follow us on we.new.the.moon. Happy New Year. We hope it's a better one than 2020. And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.